Hey guys, so this video is going to be for Blake Crouch, for Upgrade by Blake Crouch. So I needed something that was an SPFBO that I thought would be easy. So I've read Blake Crouch stuff in the past. I've enjoyed it. I've never five-starred it, but it's always been just something fun and easy and translates basically from a action-packed sci-fi movie into a book form. And that's basically what I was looking for. So I picked up Upgrade. Okay, so this is a world where the character's mother has discovered world-changing technology. She's like a super genius, one of those once-in-a-lifetime minds that comes through and just leaps and bounds, revolutionizes everything in her field. And she's in the medical field, particularly the genome fuckery. So she creates this virus that is supposed to be helpful and ends up being a catastrophe. So sometimes you'll hear about scientists thinking it's a good idea to introduce a bug into an environment to take care of one pest, and it turns out like this cascade effect. You really don't hear about them trying things like that anymore because of how badly it's gone in the past. So she tried to release this super bug. I can't remember exactly what it was. It had to do with the rice paddies. Like, I think rice paddies in China had like some major infestation, and she tried to release a virus that would wipe them out, and ended up transferring from species to species to species and wiping out crops across China. And like 200 million people died. They starved. And he was also involved in this project. So, ever since he was a kid, he always wanted to be like his mom, who was like this superpower genius who is just like ready to change the world. And he wanted to as well. He has a good heart, he has good intentions, and everything went catastrophically wrong. Now, when you're going to write a story of this proportion, supposedly this guy is able to, when he got out of jail, to like just start his life over and be left alone. I think if you start something that's so terrifying that it rewrites the laws across the globe that you can no longer use this kind of technology, people are going to know who you are and where you live. I don't think there's any possibility that he had the anonymity that he did in the start of this book. And quite frankly, he dealt with killing 200 million people a lot better than I did. Like, he feels guilty, right? But like, it would be life ending for me if I fucked up that badly. So now, instead of being the people that fuck everything up, now he's trying to hunt down the people who are still illegally using his mom's technology, because they can do all sorts of things now with editing genes. And it's not all that realistic. None of this stuff. So I don't often comment on the realism of nonfiction aspects of a science fiction fantasy book. I had a hard time taking this one seriously because I actually do have some background in biology, evolution, genetics, and things like that. And so my main issue, though, right, is eventually this guy gets a superpower. He gets a whole bunch of viruses that rewrite his genetic code. If you've ever seen Futurama, where the worms come through and make him into a superhuman, where he can smell things better, he can hear things better, he thinks more clearly, and he like becomes a genius. If you've seen that episode, if you know what I'm talking about, this is essentially what happens, but on a much more massive scale. So he starts becoming like this savant on every single level. Like, he has picture perfect memory. And the thing of this is, if you write a character that's supposed to be that smart, I shouldn't, as a reader, be able to figure out things that he's not figuring out. And so I had a lot of disconnect there. That, and I don't know if you've ever gone on Reddit. There's a subreddit. I am touching my hair a lot. There is a subreddit called I Am Very Smart. And some of the lines this guy says sounds like people in that sub. And in this particular circumstance, yes, he actually is a genius, and he probably does have a hard time relating to people, and he probably does think that like everybody else is like beneath him. But because I've seen so many of these things said non-ironically, that I just kept relating back to that sub and those people and the ridiculousness of it all, and it just felt like the main character could be the poster boy for I Am Very Smart. And so it just didn't click. And part of the reason for that is like, I am not very smart, but I used to be around people who were. I used to work in a lab, and I don't have a PhD, but I was surrounded by people who do, and they just don't speak and think the way that sometimes people write scientists. Like, I don't enjoy the Big Bang Theory because people just don't, even super geniuses, if you ever listen to Stephen Hawking talk, just doesn't speak like this. Like, for instance, okay, I'm around doctors sometimes. Well, I used to be back when I was in elder care. They don't say there's a rash on the epidermis. They say skin, okay? Like, and things like that were constant, and it just took me out of the moment a lot. And I almost two-starred this, actually. I ended up three-starring it, gave it a 6 out of 10, or a 60 out of 100, because this is not out of SPFBO. I just, the ending message was good, right? I understood why the book was written. It was basically a warning against our selfish behaviors, and AI and genetic rewriting, and the globe getting too hot, because at this point in this world, we've already fucked up the climate. I think like parts of New York are underwater, New York City. So, it's a warning that we can't lose our compassion for each other and for the universe and for everything in it. So for that reason, I actually ended up giving it a 3 stars on Goodreads. Should you read it? I don't know. No. Oh well. Another review done.